morning. Myself, Dr. Arjuna Gowda, Department of Physics, Government First Grade College, Hoskote. My topic is crystallography. Crystallography is the branch of science deals with the study of arrangement of atoms in crystalline solids. It finds applications in many disciplines, including physics, chemistry, geology, biology, materials science, etc. Importance. The function of a molecule correlates with its three-dimensional structure. Once the relationship between the structure and properties is understood, it is possible to design new materials such as drugs, alloys, etc., which have specific desired properties. And crystal structure is the key to understand in controlling of chemical and physical properties of solids. W.K. Rontgen, father of the X-rays. In 1845, he born in Germany. In 1848, he raised in the Netherlands. In 1869, he got PhD in mechanical engineering, Jersey. In 1895, he discovered X-rays. In 1901, he wins first Nobel Prize in Physics. And in 1923, he died. X-rays. In 1895, W.K. Rontgen, German physicist, was studying high voltage discharges in vacuum tubes. Then he noticed fluorescence of barium, platinocyanide, screen lying several feet from tube end. X-ray is a form of electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic waves of short wavelength with wavelengths in the range 0.02 angstrom to 100 angstrom. They are very high energy and penetrating power. This is Rontgen's wife's hand. One source said that the first skeleton he saw was his own hand holding up a piece of lead to check its opacity, causing fluorescence, where his hand was on a barium platinocyanide screen. Production of X-rays. How X-rays are produced? X-rays are produced when rapidly moving electrons that have been accelerated through a potential difference of order 1 kilovolt to 1 megavolt strikes a material target. When the electrons are suddenly decelerated on impact, some of the kinetic energy is converted into electromagnetic energy as X-rays. The production of X-rays, the operators is as shown here. This is the target. That the target is positively charged. This is the filament that is negatively charged. The whole thing is evacuated glass bulb. When you heat a filament, electrons emit. Since electrons are negatively charged, the target is positively charged. The positive charge are attracted by the electrons. This process is going continuously and releases X-rays. Properties of X-rays. X-rays travel in straight lines. X-rays cannot be deflected by electric and magnetic field. X-rays have a high penetrating power. Photographic film is blackened by X-rays. Next, fluorescent materials glow when X-rays are directed at them. Next, photoelectric emission can be produced by X-rays. The next property, ionization of a gas results when an X-ray beam is passed through it. Continuous and characteristic X-ray spectrum. This is the diagram of the continuous X-ray spectrum. This is the characteristic X-ray spectrum. This is the graph, intensity versus wavelength. This is the smooth curve. One more, this is another smooth curve. This is another smooth curve. This is one more smooth curve. These smooth curves are called continuous X-ray spectrum. And this curve seems to be a peaks. No, this is the characteristic X-ray spectrum. This is 5 kilovolts, 10 kilovolts, 15 kilovolts, 20 kilovolts, 25 kilovolts. In that range, we will get the X-ray spectrum. A continuous X-ray spectra, some of the high energetic electrons penetrate the interior of the atoms of the target and interact with the positively charged nucleus. This interaction gives rise to continuous spectrum. It is also called as Bremsstrahlung or braking radiation. The electrons will be radially accelerated towards the nucleus. The electrons emerging out of the influence of the nucleus, all the energy of the electrons will be lost in the form of a photon. This is the diagram, continuous and Bremsstrahlung X-ray production. So now this W is a nucleus. This is K shell, L shell, M shell. Next it's on to N shell. These are the electrons. So incoming projectile electron, it has high energy. While comes to the target, since target is nucleus is positively charged, electron is negatively charged. Due to that, the electron attracted by the nucleus and outgoing projectile electron that is having lower energy. So Bremsstrahlung X-ray emission will get this. Characteristics X-ray spectra. Different target materials give different wavelengths for the peaks in the X-ray spectrum. The peaks are due to electrons knock out inner shell electrons from target atoms. When these inner shell vacancies are refilled by free electrons, X-ray photons are emitted. The peaks for any target material element defines its characteristics X-ray spectrum. This is the diagram of characteristics X-ray production. Same thing as in continuous. This is W is the nucleus. Next to the K shell, the electrons revolve around the nucleus. Next L shell, there is electron. There also electrons revolving around. And then M shell, electrons revolving around. Next on to N cell, like that. This is the target atom. The incoming projectile electron having high energy. When it knocks one of the electron in the K shell, then and outgoing projectile electron with lower energy, the ejected electron ionization atom comes here. So once knock out the electron in the K shell, transition takes place. Electron jumps from L shell to K shell, M shell to K shell, N shell to K shell. It jumps from L shell to K shell called K X-rays, L shell to K shell, L X-rays, M shell to K shell, M X-rays, so on to it constitutes characteristics X-ray spectrum. Applications of X-rays. X-rays plays an important role in medicine, industry, and X-ray crystallography or in research. We can say in medicine, in industry, and in research. One by one we'll discuss. In medicine, it is used to diagnose illness and for treatment. It is X-rays is also used for detect the bone fractures. X-rays used to treat abnormal glands in the tissues. X-rays are used to scan scanning purpose. X-rays are used in CT scan, computer topography scan. Next, in industry, it is used to locate cracks in metals. It is used to detect the cracks in building blocks or the big pillars, and it is used to determine cracks in welded materials. X-rays are used to check the leakage pipes. The pipes may be water or petroleum products or gas. X-rays are used to check luggages in airports. Next, we'll go for X-ray crystallography uses or research. X-rays are used to determine the crystal structure of materials. It is used to determine the complex organic structure of complex organic molecules. It is used to determine the structure of genes. Like there's so many applications of X-rays. Next, we'll go for symmetry elements. A state in which parts on opposite sides of a plane, line, or point display arrangements that are related to one another via a symmetry operation such as translation, rotation, reflection, or inversion. Applications of the symmetry operators leaves the entire crystal unchanged. Symmetry in nature, see you can see symmetry in nature also. This leaf is symmetry for this leaf, and this leaf is symmetry for this leaf. If you see in a butterfly, this wing is symmetry to the right wing of this butterfly. Very nice to see in nature also. A lesson in symmetry for MC Escher. These are lizards. You can find symmetries in this figure also. Lizard. Same thing you can see, you can find in honeybees. Symmetry about the wings of the honeybees is symmetry for this wing, and this wing is symmetry for that wing. And also the faces also you can see the symmetry. Here the flying birds or the eagles, you see the symmetry. This eye is symmetry to this side, to this side. You can find symmetry here. Crystal structure, motif, the fundamental part of a symmetric design that, when repeated, creates the whole pattern. In 3D, translation defines operations which move the motif into infinitely repeating patterns. MC Escher work are based on these ideas. Translations that are already discussed in the previous slides. Okay, you can see the translation from this sets to this sets and this sets to this. One more translation to your 2D translations, because net unit cell. This is the unit cell. The basic repeat unit that by translation only generates the entire pattern. Generates the entire pattern. Crystal structure. Lattice plus basis is equal to crystal structure. This is the lattice. The lattice points are atoms or molecules in regular arrangement. These are the uh, basis vectors. or basis. This is lattice plus basis is equal to crystal structure. Molecule that we have taken in a unit cell, and this is the crystal. Crystals are made of infinite number of unit cells. Unit cell is the smallest unit of a crystal, which, if repeated, could generate the whole crystal. A crystal's unit cell dimensions are defined by six numbers. The length of the three axes A, B, and C. This is the from here to here A, from here to here B, from here to here C. And the three interaxial angles alpha, beta, gamma. This is alpha, this is beta, this is gamma. Lattice types. There are four types of lattices. One is primitive, side-centered, face-centered, body-centered. We'll go for description of the primitive cell. Lattice points on corners only. That symbol is P. Next, side-centered. Here, lattice points on corners as well as centered on faces. Symbols A for BC spaces, B for AC spaces, C for AB faces. Next, face centered. That is, lattice points on corners as well as in the centers of the all faces. Symbol F. Body centered. Lattice points on corners as well as in the center of the unit cell body. Its symbol is I. So this is a primitive unit cell. This is the body centered unit cell. This is the face or side centered unit cell. You can see clearly here. Next, lattices. Auguste Braves in 1811 to 1863. In 1848, Auguste Braves demonstrated that in a three-dimensional system, there are 14 possible lattices. A Bravais lattice is an infinite array of discrete points with identical environment. 7 crystal systems plus 4 lattice centering types is equal to 14 Bravais lattices. Lattices are characterized by translation symmetry. Crystal and crystal systems, the periodic repetition of atoms or molecules in three-dimensional lattice is called crystal. Crystals are classified into 7 crystal systems according to characteristic symmetry of their unit cell. The characteristic symmetry of a crystal is a combination of one or more rotations and inversions. Crystal systems and cell parameters. So first we will take triclinic. Its cell parameters A not equal to B not equal to C and alpha not equal to beta not equal to gamma. In monoclinic, A not equal to B not equal to C and alpha equals gamma equals 90 degree, but beta not equal to 90 degree. In orthorhombic, A not equal to B not equal to C, alpha equals beta equals gamma equals 90 degree. In tetragonal, A equals B not equal to C. Alpha equals beta equals gamma equals 90 degree. In cubic crystal system, A equals B equals C. Alpha equals beta equals gamma equals 90 degree. In trigonal or rhombohedral, A equals B equals C. Alpha equals beta equals gamma not equal to 90 degree. Hexagonal, A equals B not equal to C. and alpha equals beta equals 90 degree and gamma equals 120 degree. See in triclinic, according to cell parameters, alpha, beta, gamma not equals to 90 degrees. See, this is alpha not equal to 90 degrees. This is beta not equal to 90 degrees. This is gamma not equal to 90 degree. The same manner, monoclinic, alpha, gamma equals 90 degrees. This is alpha and gamma equals 90 degree. But beta, this is beta not equal to 90 degree. Orthorhombic, A not equal to B not equal to C. See, this is from here to A, this is not equal to B, and B not equal to C. This is C. Tetragonal, A not equal to C. A, this is A not equal to this is C. A not equal to C. Trigonal, alpha equals beta and gamma not equals to 90 degree. That means alpha equals 90 degree. The alpha equals beta, this is equal to beta, that's 90 degree, and gamma not equal to 90 degree. This is not equal to 90 degree in gamma. Hexagonal, A not equal to C. Cubic, that we know all sides are equal, all angles are equal. This is also equal to A, but it seems to be um, in the diagram it seems to be less compared to this. This A is equal to A equals, this is A equals, A. This is the 14 Bravais lattices. So in beginning we find three diagrams, that is Bravais lattices. Next four, that is in orthorhombic we'll get this four. Next we'll get one more, another four. Next three more Bravais lattices. Totally we can find 14 Bravais lattices. Lattice planes keep tracks of sets of planes by giving them names called Miller indices or HKL values. The Miller indices, HKL, choose cell origin, cell axis. See, this is the cell origin. You have chosen here. From here to here is A, from here to here is B. Draw set of planes of intersects. See, set of planes 1, 2, 3, so on. So drawn the plane. Next, choose plane nearest origin. Okay, that planes you have chosen the nearest origin here. Next, find intercepts on cell axis. Find intercepts on cell axis. Say from here to here is A is 1, from here to here is B is 1, and C is infinity. That we find the intercepts on the cell axis. Next, invert these to get HKL value. Invert or take reciprocal for that value 1 comma 1 comma infinity. Invert it or take reciprocal of that. If you take reciprocal 1 by 1 equals 1, that is, and next this 1 by 1 equals 1, that is 1, and 1 by infinity we take a reciprocal for infinity, 1 by infinity equals 0, that is 1 1 0. Next 0 0 1, say 0 0 1 intercepts infinity comma 1, 0 0 1 plane we have shown here. Next 0 0 1, 0 0 1, that is intercepts infinity 1, that is 0 0 1 plane. Next 0 0 1 intercepts, same thing, repeated. Next this is 0 1 1 intercepts infinity 1 1. This is 0 1 1 plane shown here. Next, X-ray diffraction and Brock's law. According to Brock's, X-ray diffraction can be viewed as a process similar to reflection from planes of atoms in the crystal. In Bragg's construction, the planes in the crystal are exposed to a radiation source at a glancing angle theta, and X-rays are scattered with an angle of reflection also equal to theta. The incident and refracted rays are in the same plane as the normal to the crystal planes. Bragg reasoned that constructive interference would occur only when the path length difference between rays scattered from parallel crystal planes would be an integral number of wavelengths of the radiation. When the crystal planes are separated by a distance d, the path length difference would be 2d sin theta. Thus, for constructive interference to occur, Bragg's law must be fulfilled. Bragg's equation, yeah, say, I'll give some explanation. This is the green line is one plane, this green line is another plane, one more green line is another plane. The distance between the two planes is d. Ray 1 incident here and scatters here and make an angle theta. Here one theta, here is one theta, that is 2d sin theta, 2 theta. The deviation is 2 theta. This theta plus this theta, deviation is 2 theta. Next, one more ray, that is ray 2 incident here in the plane and scatters along here. It also will get theta plus theta 2 theta. On here, the path difference d sin theta, and from here to here is also path difference d sin theta. The path difference between ray 1 and ray 2 equals 2d sin theta. For ray 1 is d sin theta, and then ray 2 also d sin theta. D sin theta plus d sin theta equals 2d sin theta. For constructive interference, n lambda is equal to 2d sin theta. This is Bragg's equation. Diffraction experiment setup. So this is a source, say X-rays. This is the crystal. Then this is a diffraction pattern in a photofilm. So when you pass X-ray on crystal, diffraction takes place. The diffraction points we can see here in photofilm. Crystal structure determination methods. There are three methods for determination of the crystal structure: single crystal XRD, powder XRD, small angle X-ray scattering. We can determine the crystal structure in these methods. Small angle X-ray scattering, SAXS. The experimental arrangement is as shown here. This is the X-ray source. From the source monochromator, X-ray beam comes here like this. This is the specimen. The specimen may be powders or plates or fibers, and this is the glassy carbon, and this is the beam stop detector. This is the detector. So we'll give explanation. Highly collimated beam combined with a long distance between the sample and the detector allow sensitive measurements of the X-rays that are just barely scattered by the sample. Scattering angle less than 6 degree. The length scale of D in angstrom is inversely proportional to the scattering angle. Therefore, small angles represented large features in the samples. Can resolve features of a size as large as 200 nanometer. resolve microstructural features as well as crystallographic used to determine the crystallinity of polymers, organic molecules, proteins, etc. in solution. Structural information on the nanometer to sub-micrometer length scale. Ordering on the meso and nano length scales of self-assembled molecules and or porous dispersion of crystallides in a matrix. Next, X-ray powder diffraction, XRPD. Here, more approximately called polycrystalline X-ray diffraction because it can also be used for sintered samples, metal foils, coatings and films, finished parts, etc. Used to determine phase composition, commonly called phase ID. What phases are present? Qualitatively, phase analysis, how much of each phase is present. Unit cell lattice parameters, crystal structure, average crystallite size of nanocrystalline samples, crystallite microstrain, texture, and residual stress or really residual strain. Next, polycrystalline samples should contain thousands of crystallites. Therefore, all possible diffraction peaks observed here. Say this is 20, that is 2 theta in degrees. For 20, it should be the peak 100. This is approximately 29, I think. A peak is 110. This is 35. Next, this is 36 or 37. 2 theta 37 degree. And the peak is 111. Next comes to here. This is 40. This may be 42. That is peak 200. This 45, 6, 7, 47. The peak is 210. Like that, we can identify the peak numbers here. For every set of planes, there will be a small percentage of the slides that are properly oriented to different, not different, diffract. The plane perpendicular bisects the incident and diffracted beam. Basic assumptions of powder diffraction are that for every set of planes, there is an equal number of crystallites that will diffract and that there is a statistically relevant number of crystallites, not just one or two. So this is powder diffraction pattern now shown here. This graph shows intensity versus 2 theta in degrees. For 2 theta, we will find the peak here. And for 3 theta in degrees is the maximum peak we see here. Next, in between 3 and 4, the peak. In between 4 and 5, one more peak. Exactly for 5, we will see the peak here. We can see the intensity, maybe we can measure it here. Like that, we can see the one more peak here in between 6 and 7 for 7, so on to we can see here. Next, single crystal diffraction, that is shown here, super microscope via X-ray. Super microscope here, X-ray diffraction is here. This figure is helps very neatly for the X-ray diffraction and super microscope. First, we'll go for this my super microscope. Enlarged images. See, this is the enlarged images and visible light object. Here we will placing the object. Object may be crystal or powder form or crystalline form. The object we are placing here. Objective lenses. These are the objective lenses. This is the detector. Eyepiece lens. We will see here in the eyepiece lens. We'll come to the X-ray diffraction. Here, electron density map. These things. This is the electron density map. This is molecule. See, molecule, this is the bond, like that. No, the dotted lines and all thick lines. The dot is atoms. This is the molecule. X-rays goes like this. Object we have placed a crystal here. You see crystal. The detector is here. Computer attached to the detector. Film, photography, Fourier synthesis here. The crystallographer will be here. Okay, like this is a small figure we can understand very nicely. Next, crystal growth in X-ray crystallography. Crystal growth is very very important. Without crystal, we can't get the crystal diffraction. That's why crystallization process, liquid mixture, generation of supersaturation, driving force. Next, nucleation, birth of solid phase, crystal growth. These are the crystals. There are different shapes and sizes. There are different types of crystal growing. So I mentioned here only three. That is one, slow evaporation. Number two, vapor diffusion. Number three, slow cooling or temperature gradient. Crystals need approximately 0.5 mm in length. Can take weeks to months. So what it implies, it needs length about 0.5 millimeter, and for growing purpose, the crystal take some weeks or some months. Crystal growth depends on temperature, concentration, type of solvent, etc. So this is the diffractometer, CCD diffractometer. Here I have shown the area. Diffraction is inside this glass window, and we have kept outside here. Now you open the glass window. Here I will tell you. This one pipe seems to be a pipeline is there now. This is one side X-rays is coming. The another side we have kept the crystal here. When X-ray falls on the crystal, diffraction takes place. This is the detector. The detector collects the diffraction patterns in the form of HKL values. This is the diffraction pattern we can see. While collecting also we can see. So the diffraction patterns. This is the equation density of XYZ is equal to 1 by volume of unit cell, structure factor amplitude HKL, alpha HKL phase associated with the structure factor amplitude, and wave scattered from the plane HKL. Next, you can see the diffraction pattern. So one can see the X-ray crystal structure. It seems to be like that. I have taken some structure to see to show the students. This is the R-type diagram of the crystal structure. See the atoms. See, this is tell you about C4, C17, C16, C I think 14, C15, C14, C13, like that. C2 is here. Like that, R-type crystal structure. This dotted lines the interaction of the atoms. This is the packing diagram of the atoms. So I remember this man. So United Nations declares 2014 as International Year of Crystallography. He is the president of International Union of Crystallography during 2014. He is an Indian man. Desi Raju, Gautamar Desi Raju has played a major role in the development of crystal engineering. for nearly 3 decades. He, among others, has been responsible in recent times for the acceptance of the theme of weak hydrogen bonding in structural and supramolecular chemistry. Thank you.